Okay, so if you think of joy, what do you think of? If you think of positivity, what do you think of? I will tell you that I've always been treading very carefully around these two. Maybe because I've seen people treat positivity and joy like manipulation. But the Swiss guest decided to change that all around for me. Hey everyone, welcome back to Drop Your Noise. If you are new to the show, welcome. My name is Kirti. Glad to have you here. And if you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button. It helps this podcast grow as well, and it makes the algorithms love us a little bit more. All right, let's get on with it. I want you to meet Cyndi. When I first met her aura, her energy was just contagious. There you go. That's what it was. It's contagious. She comes from the heart, 160% plus, plus, plus. And she speaks about how she takes this way of approach in not just in her personal life, but in her working life and into her company she's co-founded with her partner called 555. Her energy can be calm, it can be joyful, it can be serious, all of it, but that's joy that runs through her as she leads it by example. And I wanted to share this with you and invite you to see joy from a very lived experience. Enjoy this week's episode. Inspirations that always come from you. And now also, even when you have to face challenges, you always walk in with such, I wouldn't say happiness, but you walk in with an attitude of yes. There's just a yes attitude for you. So
Yeah, exactly. It's
yeah,
the only
so
way.
is it though?
It's
Because
the
when I
only way.
how why is it the only way? I think this is a really great way to introduce who you are, because in my head I can talk about all these things and the listeners going, okay, so what, Cutie? I don't know any of this. 555, Chief Happiness Officer. Yes, that's only the only way. Tell me.
Okay, cool. Happy to talk about it. Happy to talk about it.
So, what does 555 really, really mean? Why is it so inspiring for you? That's got us the first time when I met you, that got my attention.
Yeah, so first of all, it started with a love story, meaning so I know my husband already for quite a long time, but we were not romantically involved since we know each other. So it took, I think, more than 16 years before we took another leap in the
Uh-huh.
relation. But so the moment that happened, so after knowing each other for 16 years, very casually, just friendship, business-wise, at a certain moment, the spark was there. Actually, it always has been there, but we allowed it to be there
Yeah.
suddenly from both sides. And my husband said, well, you know what? I choose you. I choose to be with you. And my reply at the time, just out of the blue, was like, okay, if you choose for me, let's then do it for 555 years without knowing what the number meant, just very casually. And I said it back then in Dubai. We were in Dubai, which makes sense in the end. Like the circle is round. So I said to him, okay, if 555 years, because if you say forever, let's stay together forever, it sounds a little bit boring. So later on, I discovered when I was Googling on a sleepless night, the meaning of the number 555. And the meaning of the number 555, I can talk about it for hours as well, but very briefly, it means that if you keep a positive mindset and a positive attitude, when you go through changes in your life and you accept everything that is happening, and just with that positive mindset, you just do what needs to be done, it will be better for each and every aspect of your life. It's a symbol of transformation and staying positive in that transformation. And actually, that mentality defines me as a person already since I was like 3, 4 years old, as far as I can remember. So it's very much my number, but also now my husband's number. And then later on, we changed the name of his business, of his company, also to 555. So, and
Oh,
now we
really?
try to, yeah, so now we try to implement, we don't try, we just do it. We keep that same mentality in the business. So we are living in a very demanding environment, the event industry in the Middle East,
Yeah.
which means a lot of changes, a lot of stress, fast-paced industry, very tight deadlines. And the thing is, what we always discuss with the crew, we always keep that positive mindset. And we hear that remark a lot of times when we are on a project from other suppliers, from other crew members. They come and they see us and they say, "Wow, you're facing so much challenges, but still you always keep smiling." And it's not me, it's the whole core team of 555.
Yeah.
And it's kind of everyone who joins us on a project. I mean, it's like a disease, more or less, like it's small animals that jump to other people, because we keep calm, we keep, that positive mentality. And yeah, we hope to make a lot of people sick with that. No, not sick, but that other people adapt to that mentality as well, because it helps you through everything in your life, like
So,
personally, business-wise, whatever.
what is your definition of positivity?
Well, the thing is, throughout my whole life, of everybody faced challenges, right? It's the
Yeah.
same for me. But there was one quote that always was important for me, and that is enjoy the little things.
Enjoy
And
the things. Okay.
enjoy the little things. It was even, just sitting in the sun, which in Belgium at the time there was not that much sun. So like just sitting outside, having a coffee with a little bit of sunshine, enjoying that very moment. But it's with everything. I can enjoy, name it, that you have these gratitude journals. I
Yes.
can I cannot start with them, because then they say in the morning, give me three things you're grateful for, and when I need to start, I have a bunch, I have a whole list. I can continue like for 1 hour, the things I'm grateful for. I think happiness can be found and in being able to enjoy the little things,
Hmm.
and also uh, to be open for everything that is on your path, and be curious, being curious in life, in people, in general. And
Hmm.
I think if you allow yourself to see the sunshine every day, even though it's raining, it helps you a lot.
So, what happens? The reason I ask is because for me, I've been able to reframe when I have my dips in moments. I take a lot of sense of humor with me. I feel like I'm my own stand up comedian. I do. I will be like, okay,
It helps as well, humor
it
too.
helps to me. That is my positivity. But someday it'd be like, oh my God, you're being hard on yourself. I'm like, no, I'm not. I need to blow off and convert that emotion. So I'm always curious, what do people define for themselves as positive?
Continue.
And for me, gratitude journaling in the morning is actually very hard. I much find it easier doing it at night versus the day. So I'm very curious that your approach is like mine is in the morning. It's like tons of this. And mine
Yeah.
at night is like the little things I discovered curiously that I never knew I was going to experience today. And it's interesting.
Yeah, so that means for you it has to be quite exceptional to be able to write it down in your journal. But for me, it's even just waking up, looking and seeing the husband next to me, who I love very deeply, living in a country where we have sunshine every day, knowing that I'm loved by my friends, by my family. It all starts like there, like love, friendship, all the people in my life, the opportunities I experience, the opportunities I take. But it's in small things. It's even like when I make my coffee, I go outside, I see the sun is there, I see the beautiful view, I see a bird jumping on the balcony, he's very happy singing his song, or maybe it's like to uh, make some movements to another one in spring. But it's you know I brainwashed myself so much when I was very young, very, very young, to um, let's say turn buttons. I have the capability of turning a button. So when I'm in a very difficult position,
Okay.
situation, which I cannot control because, of course, it happens to all of us.
Yeah.
So somehow I developed the skill to have this button, mental button, where when I switch off. So without taking any physical action, I put a boundary and I don't let it come close to me. So when somebody was very disrespectful or whatever, I need to, of course, go through it,
Hmm.
but then I switch a button. And every day is a new day. Every day is a new day for new opportunities, new chances, a new opportunity to make it better than yesterday.
Yeah.
There are these coaches, and they say, like, if physical coaches, for example, they always say, oh, if tomorrow you do like 1% more than today, you're making progress. But this is the mentality I have every single day. Like every single day when I wake up, I just have this automatic intuition that I want to be a better version of myself than I was yesterday. And it helps me tremendously that I live with a husband that has the same positive mentality. Life is beautiful. Anything can happen. We are very chill. We just handle the situation and halas, done. We go on to the next. And so it helps me, of course, very, very much that he has the same mentality, because if you're, as a couple, are very much different in that aspect, it can be way more difficult. But to be honest, in our situation, we have the same. We wake up in the morning, we look at each other, we're happy because
Hmm.
we are next to each other, and that sets the rest of the tone of the day.
I think that's really nice that it's that, but that feels like that's the 1%, right? The 1% of I feel grateful. You look, you know where that it's coming together, and then that 1% fills the 99% of the rest of the day. That's what
Yeah,
it
and
sounds
yeah,
like.
and it's when I sometimes I walk to the office. So I live here and then I walk to the office, and each and every person from security, cleaning service, or whatever, I smile to them and I say, "Hey, good morning," or good afternoon or good evening. It's again in the little things. Like,
Yeah.
not a lot of people do this. So when you tell this and when you have this little action of kindness towards other people, suddenly they smile. They are very surprised. Now they're not surprised anymore. They're used to, like, the blonde girl who's walking around. She's always happy and saying hello. But not everybody does the same. And it's in acts of random kindness that makes you as a person happy yourself. Like when I'm happy to someone and I greet someone and they're grateful, because it's not for the smile, it's the message behind it. I see you and I value you, that is
Yes.
behind it. For
It
me,
is vital.
it's very, for me it's crucial. Like even when we work with thousands of, let's say, like 1,500 people, I will go even to everyone who's involved, like the people who are cleaning our toilets, the ushers who are helping in the operations, and to encourage them, to motivate them to give the best of themselves of that day or for the event. It's so important that people feel seen and valued.
To me, I like the word that you're saying, because every time we say be heard, and I'm like, no. To me, it's not about being heard, it's about being valued and being understood. To
Yeah.
It makes, for me, I feel it makes a huge difference in the being seen. So I completely relate to that. One thing that fascinates me about you, or even your company, even when I met your husband, is that you work in a very fast paced industry. Your industry feels very fast paced, and you also work across different cultures, with different cultures, and you fly out also when you need to. So there's a lot of transience and change and adaptability that goes on. which is very much in flowing into other industries nowadays as well. So when you said chief happiness officer, I was like, can I imagine if one of those stiff Fortune 500s would ever hire someone as a chief happiness officer? What would that look like? And what would they think about their bottom line? So this is what was going through my head. How do you navigate all of that transient quickness? I know you come in, you say it's I do that 1%, but not everyone may greet the positivity. And I know you said okay,
True.
flow through. So how do you, when you find that there's some of them that the challenge is much greater, how would you suggest to someone that feels like okay, I can't do it? How could they do it still? Not give up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think, of course, we face it a lot during our projects, but because people are under, again, very high pressure, huge deadlines. Of course, people crash because we lack of sleep. We sleep very little. Sometimes we don't sleep, or even maybe 2, 3 hours. And if it happens like for 30 days in a row, of course, you can imagine that people sometimes, it's enough. So the least fraction that happens, of friction, can let them crash completely. I think it's then always my advice always then is because we need to move on. We cannot afford to lose someone in that time, in that timeline. So I always put them separately with me, and I try to encourage them to take one step back, not 10, because we need to keep on moving. Just
Yeah.
one step back. And then I tell them, of course, we cannot change the situation. We cannot change the deadline. We cannot change the demands of the client. And the client is always king, as we say. So we need to deliver. It's as simple as that. But again, I give the advice of the little things again. Like I remember a conversation I had with someone. She didn't sleep for a long time, a lot of pressure. And I asked her, like, what is the last minute moment that you really got to enjoy the
Yeah.
past 30 days? And she said to me, she was thinking, she said, well, there was one night when I was outside working till very late and I saw a dragonfly
What of those?
and a dragonfly. And she says,
Mhm.
that was really beautiful. That was really awesome. And I said, so whenever you go through the challenges the next days, what you need to do is grab that moment of that dragonfly because it might be a coincidence, but also the dragonfly is really the symbol of transformation. So
Yeah.
again, it relates very much to 555, which
Yeah.
was a very, very particular coincidence. But again, go back to the little things like get some sleep, get one night of very good sleep. And in the morning, when you wake up, get your favorite breakfast, even if it's waffles and you're eating very healthy and you need protein, forget about that. Just take care of yourself
Yeah.
because self-care for everybody is the most important care that exists. You need to take care of yourself. You cannot put your energy in your job. You cannot put your energy in a relationship without taking care of yourself. Because only when you are happy and feeling good yourself, you're able to give these positive vibes to someone else or to put it in your job. So I always give the advice and then like take a bath, take a good shower, whatever it is. It depends on the person. It really depends on the person. It can be like a meditation moment. It can be a good walk. Like, let's say, like, what do you do in the morning? Yeah, I wake up, I scroll on my phone. Okay, maybe you scroll 30 minutes, put your phone aside, go outside and walk for 30 minutes, and you will see the rest of the day will feel completely different because the energy that you use will give you so much positive effects throughout the rest of the day instead of scrolling on your phone. So it's
Agree
it's
with you.
really it I mean, yeah, it's in the little things. Everything is in the little things.
And that's what I'm coming back to. If we, when I speak to individuals and we talk about self care, right? The imagined self-care is I have to do 20 minutes yoga, I have to do 20 minutes meditation, and their list of pressure that they put on self-care, I feel exhausted
But it can
listening
even
to
be
it.
doing nothing. It can be even
Yeah,
doing nothing.
yeah.
Like just sit outside or inside, make it cozy if it's cold outside, and just drink something you like, enjoy the moment and be in the moment. And if your life is always in a rush, you need to jump out of it, even if it's 10 minutes. And exactly, it doesn't have to be yoga, it doesn't have to be Pilates, but it just has to be being in the moment itself. And it can be anything. It can be putting on a mask that you buy in any grocery store, you know? Just instead of going to a wellness center the whole day, spending a few hundreds, you just can be at home. Put on a mask that you buy in the grocery store, enjoy that 15 minutes that you do nothing else, just lying down and with that thing on your face, looking in the mirror, smiling at yourself because you look like an alien, you know? Yeah,
My yeah, my version of self-care when people go, "Oh, you know, you meditate, you do this." And I'm like, "No, actually my version of self-care is having a good laugh." I love if you get me out and give me a good laugh. I think my energy is like so enjoyable because I feel that we sometimes take everything a little bit too serious now. That's my personal insight. I'm not sure what your thoughts are around that.
that's absolutely true. But it's also because we are living in an environment where the pressure is always high. So I think it relates very much to the environment where you live in, the people you work with, the people
Mm.
you live with. And to be honest, smiling, there are smile coaches, and some
Really?
companies, yeah, it exists.
No way. Smile
Exactly.
coach?
Yeah, yeah,
Talk
yeah.
about learning
Laughing
something new
coaches.
every day.
Yeah, exactly. It exists.
Smile coach.
I know some people in Belgium, they do it. And they just, either it's individual or in a group. She starts laughing.
Yeah.
At first you think like, oh, she's really exaggerating. It's too much. But it's in the end, everybody starts laughing because it's
Yeah, you
becoming
can't
so
not on that.
funny.
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. It's like everybody starts laughing because it becomes such a crazy situation. And in the
Yeah.
end, everybody is reeling the hearts out of their life, that out of their body. And it gives you a big relief. I really get you. I do say that me and my husband and me, we laugh a lot, like crazy things. Like
Mhm.
usually when I do small stupid things, it's like, oh no, she did it again.
I know it. It's really funny because when I see your Instagram stories, right, I enjoy them because you do bring out the little things. You share it with such detail. You're always holding your hand out to pull somebody up. You can see that and it just goes through it. But then sometimes you will come in with the most hilarious moments of like there was this chocolate thing you did, I think
Ah, yeah, the
during
chocolate
Christmas.
sniffing.
And
Yeah,
I was like, I literally had to go back to the store and I go, did I just read that correctly? But I was in fits of laughter because it
yeah.
seemed like, oh my God, I want to be part of that party. I mean, like
Yeah,
chocolate
exactly. It
sniffing.
was very funny because the children, some of them are quite serious, and so I bought this chocolate powder in Antwerp from the best Belgian chocolatier you can imagine. It's
Yeah.
Dominique Persone. He had this box, and it is with yeah, it it's like a handle, and you need to put a little bit of powder on it, and then you need to sniff it. But it's a weird action because everybody relates, of course, to other stuff. So I brought this to the family and the
Yeah.
children. I said, "Yeah, you know what we're gonna do as a family activity today? We're gonna sniff chocolates." They looked at me and were like, "No, we're not gonna sniff the chocolate. What are you thinking? And keep it real, too
Yeah.
normal." And I said, "No, no, no, no. I will show you. It's very simple." And then, like, slowly, gradually, everybody was sniffing one after the other, and it was just hilarious. It was just, yeah, it was just fun, just fun. We loved it. It's very contradictory. So like I promised this to take this box to a friend of mine who lives in a quite a strict environment. I told her, you need to have the chocolate powder box. You need to sniff the chocolate with your friends.
This is
Um,
something I'm definitely going to ask my sisters. I'm like, next trip, Antwerp. Why? Chocolate sniff.
exactly, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
I
It's
couldn't
very
agree.
funny, true. And it
But you
goes through your veins. Yeah,
Yes, the nose is very well. The nose is meant for the sensory organ of picking up on smells and stuff. So it is very sensitive inside the nose. But
yeah.
you still don't think. I mean, chocolate sniffing. I mean, the whole. I was like, this could be just a stand up comedy in itself. I had so many subtitles underneath going. And I thought, no, these are some of them are just borderline inappropriate, but I would die laughing about them. So yeah, that
Yeah.
was one of the
Next time we meet, I will bring the box.
yeah chocolate sniffing in Dubai. I wonder
Exactly.
how that's going to be received. And for me, I find it interesting. But have you ever had a moment where I know you said customer's king. Have you ever had that moment where it tested your limits? It tested your limits, and how could you reframe it? Because just now you said something super interesting, which was, contrary. It's something maybe contrary, but you can find what I felt like you could find something, and there was chocolate sniffing.
I mean, in terms of delivering an event and everything that relates to the scope of work, you can never say no. You need to deliver.
Okay.
The things I do say no to, and that I do not accept, is personal behavior. That is where I draw my boundaries. That's something different. I mean, if someone is very rude with me, again, I will not accept this, because what I do from the heart. Every day, I live from the heart. So that means that I put my whole heart to it in every action that I do. So when people are very rude without having the reason, or whatever reason, there is never a reason to be rude. I think you can always tackle difficulties just by having a decent conversation. You don't have to be rude to people. You can be kind and still uh, mention that you don't agree with certain things. But yes, in the past, it happened more than once that people crossed my line, that people stepped on my heart. And you are in a position where you need to deliver your job, where you don't have any saying, in what
Mhm.
happens. But what you can control is how people act to you. And so, what I said at that very moment, to give you one example, when someone was like extremely shouting at me, I said I had to calm down, of course. The next day, I had another conversation, and I told to this person, like, listen, I don't know how people treat you, but let's agree that to me, you don't shout anymore. If there is something you want to discuss, we can discuss very openly, but I will not accept that you shout at me. And some other things I'm very sensitive about, like extremely sensitive, is that the client treats the rest of my crew respectfully, because it's not only me, it's the full crew. And to me, every crew member is like, they're all adults, and sometimes they may be older than me, but they're like my 555 children. I mean, I take care of them. I'm
Yeah.
like a lioness, I take care of the whelps. And so when I see this, I will always make sure that we do not accept this. Even when I am in a position that I am not allowed to talk or whatever, because
Yeah.
this happens as well, I will make sure that people get the message. The thing is, I am generally from the heart a very kind person, but I have my values. And I
Yeah.
have this saying, if I'm not my kindest version to you, it means that you have crossed my values.
Say that again.
Yeah, so I have my values,
Yes.
right?
Hmm.
If I am not my kindest version to you, it means that You have crossed my values.
I think that's a really nice. It reframes for me the word boundary, because when I hear the word boundary, it feels, it took me a while to understand the restrictions, but you're defining the scope of how through relational lenses
Yeah.
kindness
And it's
is valuable.
you see, like normally when I'm on a project, I smile to everyone. I'm kind to everyone. I ask everyone, "How are you?" Like very happy conversations. When someone does something very disrespectful to someone of our 555 crew,
Hmm.
it will just be whatever is. I still am very polite. I will say good morning, but this isn't how I will say it. I will say good morning. Otherwise, I would say, "Hey, good morning. How are you? Did you had a good night? Come on, let's do it again today." That's the difference.
There's
And that
more
is
formality in the
totally,
structure of saying it. Yeah.
totally. Because sometimes, because of whatever reason, you are not in a position to have this conversation.
Hmm.
It's very difficult. It can be very, very complicated. When I can, I will. Or when something internally happens with crew members, that have like a misunderstanding, I put them together. I try to explain, like, you have this exactly intercultural misunderstandings. Like, where do you come from? Where does the other person come from? Like, you see, in this country, people are very loud and they make a lot of like movements when they're angry or when they want to achieve something. And in other countries, people are more modest, more quiet.
Yeah.
But still, they can be very smart and maybe smarter than the other one. What they need to do is just take that balance, come together, have this open conversation, get through it, and then move on again. And this is what you need to, yeah, as a crew mom, this is
Yeah.
something I pay a lot of attention to because we're working in a high tense environment. We
Yeah.
cannot afford to have frictions within the crew. We just simply cannot because everybody needs to collaborate. You don't need to move in with each other. You don't need to get married, but you need to be able to work together until the
Yeah.
end, until everything is. And luckily, until now, it's very rare. And I think
That's true.
I think it really is because we have this positive mindset, and it comes from Mark. Like he's holding all the responsibilities, and you cannot imagine the things we're facing and that he's facing. And he always stays very friendly, very kind, very calm, just deals with the situation. And if it's something that cannot be solved, which is very exceptional, but sometimes it's really not in our hands, then he will explain this. Then he will explain to the client, like, okay, if they are willing to understand it, that's another thing. But the positive mindset will always remain every single day, every single step that we take with 555 or in personal life as well.
It makes me think about, well, a couple of things that makes me think and wonder about. One is happiness in interculturally looks differently. And how do you find that, what determines their happiness? Because for me, when I see yours, you say, okay, there's value. I'm not being the kindest version of myself. But every culture's definition of happiness, I'm thinking, would also have different values onto that. So how do you understand what defines their happiness before you can tell them, okay, well, this is how you could approach your happiness and bring it to work?
I think it's just by having these individual conversations because it's not only cultural related, it's also personal related. So there are certain general things that are adaptable for all of us. Like if, as again, it all starts by being respected, being seen, being valued. And it
Hmm.
doesn't matter which culture you are from. It doesn't matter. I give you an example. One time we were in a hotel, a five-star hotel, and I will not name any nationality, but someone from the hotel came to me and he said, "Are you serious that you put this person also in this hotel?" I said, "Why? What's the issue?" "Yeah, he is from this country." I said, "Of course. Like, it's all for one and one for all. with triple
Yeah.
five. We all stay in the same hotel. We respect every one of the crew, and we all stay in the same place. We all have the same challenges to face. We all have the same project to deliver. So of course, why would we diversify?
Yeah.
We don't. And I think I see it, of course, around me, that unfortunately, a lot of people are being discriminated. And I cannot change that. The only thing I can do is for myself to make sure that
Mhm.
I don't have that mentality. Because for me, really, it's all about being kind to everyone. And I'm so extremely proud that my children have that same mentality. They have the same. And then this is what makes me the most proud. Like, this is such an important value,
Yeah.
and they have the same. Like, when I walk in the evening and I see a nanny uh, with children, I talk to these nannies and I say, how are you? How is your day? It's for me, it doesn't matter really what color someone has, where they come from. It doesn't matter. Just every and each and every one of us should be respected and should be valued. And it's the same thing with the garments. Like, no matter if you wear a burqa, an abaya, if you, okay, I must say, if you're like quite naked, it's another thing. But like for the rest, everyone, it doesn't matter, everyone should be respected, should be seen, and should be valued. Don't discriminate those people.
I remember 20 years ago when I had heard, I don't know where I had heard along the way, and they said, if you want to know the person's character, see how they say hello to someone who's serving them their meal at restaurant.
Yeah,
See
I
how they
totally agree. I
and
totally agree.
I exactly, and it says everything. People come there and they'll be like, "What? How can I take your order?" And you just want to say hi, how are you? And when you take that 1 minute to just say hi, how are you? How is your day? They get taken out of their shell. They're like, somebody's
Exactly.
looking at me, and
Yeah,
they take it with a different approach. And I do believe, like you said, I go on this walk and I say hello to everybody. It says something about I see you, but also about I want to understand where you are, your happiness, and we start at that base level. That's what I get from listening to you. So that is almost then universal, or I would think it's universal. But sometimes I've also noticed in certain cultures where it's still very patriarchal, then it changes that narrative.
it does.
And
It does. But again, unfortunately, when I was younger, I used to think that I could change the world, that I could change everybody's mentality, but I cannot. So, for example, I know a lot of my friends back in Belgium, they have this certain opinion about women wearing an abaya, wearing a burqa, or whatever. So, uh, because I felt a little bit frustrated about that. And also because I wanted to bring a positive message, and
Mhm.
that these women are like very remarkable, because do not underestimate them, believe me.
Yeah.
I found this project Minal Kalb,
I was
and
going
it
to
means,
ask you, and
yeah,
you. Okay, so what were you left thinking about joy? Did it now make you think how you could bring it into your way of being? Did it spark any ideas about how it actually can be a value in our career and in our way of being with others? And if you want to share it with me, I'd love to hear. You can leave it in the comments, or if not, join me in one of my channels elsewhere where you can drop your thoughts, your insights, and you get also a deeper dive into what we talk about here. Hey, have a good one. Till the next one, take care.
Tune in for the latest edition